Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon, and we're gonna talk about Zack Snyder, the Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and Warner Brothers. It seems like Warner Brothers doesn't want Zack Snyder. They don't. They've made it very clear on multiple occasions that they are definitely not interested in renewing the Snyderverse, restoring the Snyderverse, despite fan pleas, and that to some people at Warner, it seems like they just have a disdain for Snyder's version of the DCEU. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what the future holds for the DCEU. It's going to be old JJ from here on out, as I understand it. Before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're over 187,000 subs. Thank you for this support. We're going to dip back in on the Snyder Cut. Now, Geeky and I did watch it a couple of weeks ago, the day it dropped, and we thought it was pretty good. It was a much better film than the original theatrical Justice League. But it's been controversial because, fans got what they wanted. And the studios, the media, hates it when fans get what they wanted. Now, HBO did this as kind of a publicity stunt for HBO Max to drum up hype. This is why you want to subscribe to HBO Max, because you're finally going to get the Justice League that you wanted, the Snyder Cut of the Justice League. But not everybody's happy about that. If you read some of these media outlets, they're like, oh my God, this is why you don't cave to the toxic fans. And Zack Snyder did a tour on a bunch of live streams, and he had to give a disclaimer on one. I think it was with Geeks and Gamers, and it didn't go very well because it sounded very corporate. And it sounded like he was attacking them to some people, and that kind of blew up. But it seems to me like Zack Snyder is a guy who is desperately trying to get reinstated at DC as being the guy in charge, kind of like Kevin Feige is over at Marvel. And I don't think Warner is going to do it, guys. I really don't. If you're asking for my honest opinion, I think it's over. I don't think the Snyderverse is going to get restored as much as I would like to see that now. If you had asked me before the Snyder Cut, I would have said there's no way in hell, I don't really care. Do what you're going to do. Especially after Wonder Woman 84. It's like, if you're going to reset the whole damn thing, just do it already. But the Snyder Cut was actually pretty good. I was actually looking forward to more of Zack Snyder's version of Justice League, and I don't think we're going to get it. Maybe we'll get a comic book continuation. They're doing this thing at DC now where they continue popular franchises in the comics, like they're doing Batman 1989 and they did Batman 66 before and all that. Maybe we'll get a Snyderverse comic book series or something. It's, some small consolation. Anyway, this is coming from Cosmic Book News. Warner Brothers doesn't want Zack Snyder anymore. Snyder made it clear that the Snyderverse is over and won't be continuing, as the director of Justice League responds to a fan that Warner Brothers doesn't want him. They don't want him. They made it very clear. I think they made it very clear. And we'll talk about this trailer reaction too. That's also on Cosmic Book News. In a post on Vero, Zack Snyder released a behind-the-scenes image of the Jon Stewart Green Lantern scene that Warner Brothers put the kibosh on. Not only did Zack offer the Green Lantern scene won't see the light of day, which is really unfortunate, by the way, but when a fan remarked, "Thank you, sir, for everything. Warner Brothers does not deserve you at all," Snyder replied, "Nor want me." Nor want me. Warner Brothers crossed the line. A couple of days ago, Zack responded to Warner Brothers releasing the 4K trailer of Joss Whedon's Justice League movie with a line from his Army of the Dead flick coming to Netflix. Here's the whole exchange right here. He said that they're crossing the line. It's pathetic. There's like a sparring match going on. So what we have heard from different people who follow the Snyder drama more closely than we do is that Warner Brothers really didn't want to release the Snyder Cut. They weren't interested in the Snyder Cut. HBO wasn't going to do it, but AT&T put pressure on them to do it because they're like, we got to make money. Let's give the fans something they want to get them to subscribe to HBO Max. There's all kinds of talk about whether or not it was successful. From a numbers point of view, I know it was highly streamed. I know they had tied up their servers. Their servers went down, but apparently people are trying to downplay that in the media. We're gonna talk about this a little bit more. We got this covered. Has more on the actual numbers. So Cosmic Book News says, we know that Zack wasn't kidding around. Again, Zack makes it clear Warner Brothers doesn't want him or the Snyderverse. Regarding the Green Lantern scene for Zack Snyder's Justice League, Zack originally wanted to end the flick with Green Lantern's, the Jon Stewart Green Lantern, but Warner Brothers said no as they have plans for the character. J.J. Abrams does, so Zack went with Martian Manhunter. I thought the Martian Manhunter scene was pretty cool. I did, but Green Lantern would have made more sense, I think, personally, but now they're talking Guy Gardner for probably the J.J. Abrams verse. A fan also questioned if the Green Lantern scene will ever see the light of day, but Zack replied, I don't think so, but I have a rad still. That's all he's got left of it. So yeah, this is sort of the big thing too. Like, they're downplaying how popular the Snyder Cut actually was. Now, as far as I know, is the only movie on HBO Max to crash the servers. They keep saying that Mortal Kombat was streamed more, that Godzilla vs. Kong was streamed more, that Wonder Woman 84 was streamed more, and there's a lot of hokey pokey with the numbers. Now, you would think that Warner Brothers, Warner Media would be out there, broadcasting these numbers and being like, guys, it was a huge hit. Thank you for the support. Da, 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 da. And that's not actually what's going on. And then throw into the mix that Zack Snyder basically had to go do his own PR. I mean, the reason he was on the Geeks and Gamers stream and on other live streams is I think he had to do his own PR with the fans to drum up interest in it. They weren't really supporting this. I mean, they put a trailer out, whatever. But I think at that point, Warner Media, at least, is already moving on to whatever's next for the DCEU with J.J. Abrams. And they just kind of did the Snyder Cut as a favor to AT&T, or just to shut the fans up or something. And I mean, almost immediately after the stream, we had, the Warner Media bigwig, what was it, Ann Sarnoff, going out and, blasting fans and being like, these toxic fans, we won't tolerate them. I mean, they didn't want this. They didn't want it. I think they were forced to do it. So we got this covered. Warner Brothers reportedly doesn't want fans to know Zack Snyder's Justice League was a success. So one of the stranger subplots to follow in the wake of Justice League was the notion that Warner Brothers were doing everything they could to downplay the movie's success in the hopes of quieting down the fan base who were demanding sequels from almost the second it premiered on HBO Max. I would personally like to see a sequel. I don't think we're going to get one, though. I really don't, but I would have loved to see more of this. If the studio didn't want Snyderverse supporters to make noise, then surely they wouldn't have bothered spending an additional $70 million on a project that had already set them back close to $500 million in production costs and marketing, only to see it fail to turn a single penny of profit. Essentially, the Snyder Cut was a gimmick designed to drive up interest and subscriber numbers for HBO Max. In that regard, it worked. They're saying it worked on We Got This Covered. Let's see here. They said, yeah. They said, but it didn't bring in the surge that they were hoping for. Again, look, it feels like there are two different factions at HBO Max. We've got AT&T that wants to make money, and we've got Warner Media that wants to just do whatever the hell Warner Media wants to do. So, they're gonna, that's my understanding of it. I can't prove that, but that is my understanding that this was an AT&T decision. Third-party aggregator Samba TV, pretty much the only source for any sort of viewership data for HBO Max, recently calculated that the 4-hour version of Justice League had been watched 3.7 million times in the first 39 days, which is a solid number. However, tipster Mikey Sutton maintains the studio aren't revealing any concrete figures in an effort to try and restore the Snyderverse campaigners from claiming another victory as the mythology pivots toward J.J. Abrams and the multiverse instead. They've got other plans, guys. They were done with the Snyderverse as soon as this movie was done. Like, I don't think they ever had any plans to continue it. They just did it to try to get people to subscribe to HBO Max. I think it's very accurate to call it a gimmick, which is really unfortunate because it was a damn good movie. I thought it was a damn good movie anyway. Definitely better than the original theatrical cut. So Warner Brothers, as I've been told, according to Mikey Sutton, doesn't want Snyder's followers to know that blew up on HBO Max. Again, this is the only movie on HBO Max that I'm aware of that shut the servers down. They're saying, Godzilla vs. Kong did better. They're saying Mortal Kombat did better, that Wonder Woman did better, but none of them crashed the servers. So I don't know. Of course, HBO Max has never released official data for any of its highest profile originals or exclusives, so it's not as if the Snyder Cut is being singled out and ignored, but it does suit a certain narrative. As always with Warner Brothers and the DCEU, the truth most likely lies somewhere in the middle, with the boardroom probably severely underestimating how popular the brand new Justice League would be, and it arrived at exactly the wrong time for the franchise to change tracks. That's exactly what I think happened. I think the J.J. Abrams verse is already underway. I think they're already planning it. I told people before, they said it was a good sign that they were getting rid of the new Gods movie, and it probably would have been a train wreck given the director. I don't think this is something that she would have really been into, but it doesn't mean that we're getting the Snyderverse. It means that they're going in a totally different direction with J.J. Abrams at the helm, and that is it. So one more thing about Snyder before I wrap this up. He was not happy about the Justice League 4K Whedon trailer, which I didn't even know that dropped. Snyder responds to Warner Brothers releasing a Justice League 4K trailer for the Joss Whedon version of the movie, as a lot of Snyder Cut fans are upset the trailer was released. Responding to a fan on the Vero app, Snyder replied, "Crossing the line." That's what we talked about before. Crossing the line is from Army of the Dead. So yeah, I mean, why would they do this? You know, it's kind of shitty, I think. Like, hey guys, we're releasing the Snyder Cut finally, but hey, don't forget about the theatrical release. So yeah, it tells me that they're not deleting this from existence. They're basically going to look at Snyder's version of Justice League as a what could have been a curiosity, kind of like the Richard Donner version of Superman 2. It's not technically canon. It exists for purists and super fans, but it's not technically canon. So yeah, it looks like the Snyder Cut fans have downvoted the Whedon 4K trailer to oblivion. It has 30,000 dislikes to 2.1 thousand likes, but happens to have over 260,000 views. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this one up, guys. I think it's over. I really do. I think the Snyderverse is over. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but yeah, there we go. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.